Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Zach Lesage here. Today we're going to be covering over Dragapult EX with Dusknoir and Budew. Now, you're not going crazy. We've already covered this deck on the channel before, but I figured why not update y'all with my personal list for this deck as we approach the 2025 European International Championships in London this weekend. Now, Dragapult EX Dusknoir has seen a lot of success at previous tournaments this season in the Prismatic Evolutions format, like the regionals that we just held in Mexico. We saw Aiden Cuss and Brent Tonneson both make at least asymmetrical cuts, and they both have their lists available on the Limitless website. Now, what I've done differently is I've stripped down a lot of things where I think we can cut cards like Temple of Sinnoh because Lugia is on the decline. And I've also added a second Budew because I don't want to prize my Budew, and just so I'm able to go Itchy Pollen more or less. I think that overall this is a pretty decent strategy. Extra Lance, I have a vacuum instead of playing stadiums. So this build should allow us to just have a decent consistent setup of using Phantom Dive, popping some Dusknoirs and Dusclops so we can knock out whichever Pokemon we want. In this video I'll be showcasing this deck list, the strategy, gameplay, and more. So if that sounds great to you, give this video a like, subscribe, and let me know if you like it in the comments, or just anything in the comments. It does help boost the YouTube algorithm. This list is available in the description. You can copy and paste it right into PTCG Live. And of course, if you need any of those cards in real life, check out Kayfabe Cards, or if you want to craft these decks online, pick up some code cards from ptcgostore.com. Let's jump into the gameplay. So we're starting the game off, and I want to go second if possible. It's because we have a lot of supporters in our deck. I want to attack with Budew turn one, and we'll see exactly what our opponent wants to do here. In a lot of cases, we're just going to go first. A lot of decks want to go second. That's fine. We'll deal with it. On the plus side, we did get Buddy Poffin, Rotom, and Nest Ball, allowing us to have a really good setup. The reason why we play Rotom, people might think it's counterproductive because we have Budew, is because we have access to Rotom to be able to get set up. If we go first in this exact situation, we're not gonna have anything else too crazy. We're gonna start off Buddy Poffin, free search that we got. Don't need to search out Budew. We're just gonna search out Dreepy. Probably don't need much more than Dreepy. I'm gonna grab a Duskull just in case. And I don't think I need to do anything else when it comes to this situation. We have a supporter for next turn. I don't want to use Ultra Ball to grab anything. Like, we could get a Drakloak next turn. We're chilling. I don't want to put Sparkling Crystal down. It's easily searchable, and to me this seems great. If I need to pivot into an attack with Budew, we got it. We can always take our turn one and basically turn our turn two into turn one. Now, with our opponent playing Latias EX, there's a good chance that we're playing against Raging Bolts, maybe. I don't know what other decks play Latias and play Radiant Greninja, so I'll have to look into that and see exactly what's going on. Okay, so we're playing against Gouging Fire. Now, there is a chance that our opponent goes knockout on our Pokemon, but we just want to get set up as quickly as possible with our Dragapult and just immediately start going for Sparkling Crystal. Attack, Phantom Dive should be okay for next turn. We can use Ultra Ball to search for Arven, to search for Seal Stone and Earthen Vessel. That might be able to get us out of here. Or if we grab we're basically one card off. We just need an energy, a rare candy, something. So there's our opponent going for that Delphox. Could be spooky. We'll deal with it. Need a lot of energies to get up onto that Delphox. Like, they need a Magma Basin, they need a Professor Sada to move the energy to their other Pokemon. So there's a good chance they might not be able to go Magical Fire. Also, with their damage counters with Magma Basin, we could make it a little bit easier to get the knockout with Phantom Dive. So it's actually like a pretty meta deck. It just came second at the Mexico Regionals. And I guess they're just going to be knocking out discarding Seeker Box. I'm okay with this. They've already used their V-Star. They've already gone through some things. Budew's fine. We could Budew their Budew. We may not have the easiest time in the entire world, but we'll deal with it. Still don't have any Fire Energies in the discard pile, so they can't Magma Basin. There's a Gouging. Can they even get out of the active spots? No active spot. Okay. Iono, that's fine. We had some cool cards in our hand. Typically, decks like this might not necessarily even play Iono, but I'm okay with Drakloak, Fire, Psychic, and if they don't have a way to retreat their active, then we're not getting Itchy Pollens. They're just going to go Fire for their turn on the bench. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Definitely would have gone for at least concealed cards first before attaching. They could have gained more information there. But maybe they're learning this deck. That's fine. Unless, I mean, I guess they could free retreat the Latias, so that doesn't matter. They can just free retreat the Latias. I wasn't even thinking of Latias. That's cool. So we're going to be getting Budew this turn anyways. We still have Drakloak. Maybe like to get some more Pokemon, but we can go Arven, search our deck for a rescue board, and then we're ready to go, but we're not going to be able to go Rare Candy this turn. Good to know. Or we shouldn't, unless our opponent decides not to use Itchy Pollen for some reason. Best case scenario is that we Itchy Pollen their Itchy Pollen, or we Dusclops them. We'll have to see how this decides to go. I'd like to get out some more Dreepy if possible. Other thing to note is that we know some of the cards that we put at the bottom of our deck. If I could find them. Where did they play Iono? So we know that we have like a Budew at the bottom of our deck and some other pieces, so that's okay. Now we're just going to get Itchy Pollen. That's fine. They might be trying to get a boss's orders or something like that. Lance is pretty good for us here. I think what I want to do is just search out a bunch of more Dreepies, so that we're ready to basically get set up here. And before we do anything else, we're just going to go one by one with the recon directive, so we could always take an extra step here. Lance could be good when it comes down to it. Let's go Drakloak. See if we can get something here. We have an Iono. No, I think Iono might be good here, because we might be able to draw into some other pieces. Let's go Dreepy. And it forces our opponent to knock out this Drakloak if we put an energy on it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a Fire Energy. Actually, I could just retreat the active. I'm trying to think of the best way for us to deal with this. Maybe, just maybe, we have the energy on our active since they're going to get a knockout anyways. So let's go ahead and go Fire Energy with Rotom on the Rotom, so we're able to retreat for next turn. And if our opponent gets a hit off, that's fine. It is what it is. Let's just go instant charge. I don't see them knocking out our Rotom this turn. I'm hoping that they just go knockout. Next turn, we have all the pieces return that knockout back. Since they aren't going to be able to get out Monkey Dory or anything else there. So no matter what happens next turn, unless our opponent plays Iono on us, if they attack our active or if they attack Drakloak with their attack, we should be able to go Arven, Rare Candy, Sparkling Crystal, and then get that through. If our opponent goes Budew, then we're able to go Arven, Dragapult, Sparkling Crystal. We're ready to attack. So no matter what, we set ourselves up for success. And we'll see what our opponent decides to do here. I mean, if they hit our active for 120, I'm about it. That seems fine. I'd rather them get one prize card and we start the 2 prize card trade-off very nicely. They're going to knock out Drakloak. So knowing what your opponent can do is half the battle. That is one of the biggest things that I teach when it comes to coaching. And sometimes it's easy to forget that your opponent has a Latias EX in play, whatever. I know I did. But it's also another thing where it didn't necessarily matter because I was discussing what my opponent could do on their turn, right? I'm just casting words out there and then kind of coming up with expectations afterwards. So we are going to, there's no point of us setting up the Rotom because we already have everything we need to get set up here. Let's go. Dreepy goes into the active spots. We already have Rare Candy, so I mean, when it comes to this point, we just want to go Arven, search for this, nope, this, and we could even just go to Night Stretcher to start building up our board more. There's nothing else that I want in play. I don't care about their Magma Basin. If they end up getting attack off on us, that's fine. Let's Rare Candy this one. Let's go Night Stretcher. Night Stretcher back our Drakloak, so we're ready to attack there. Is there anything that's worthwhile to Nest Ball for? I'd like to go Duskull here, and one of the biggest reasons why I want to go Duskull, I mean, I could also go Radiant Alakazam. That might end up being kind of good to get an extra prize card. I think Radiant Alakazam's probably better, to be honest. We could just take 2 damage counters from this and start moving it to their other Pokemon, like Budew. They have 4 on it, right? So that's enough for us to get the knockout. This is enough for us to do this. This is enough for us to do this. Not that. And now we're in a position where our board's fully set up. We could have recon directed before all this, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to keep the Forest Seal Stone just in case. We could do a lot of different things with that. We'll keep a V-Star option. We don't need to do anything else. And let's just go ahead and let's hit for 200 for the knockouts. And let's look at what our opponent can do. If we put 3 here, that's enough to knock out our opponent's Gouging Fire. This is also enough for us to knock this out with a Dusknoir. So it looks like as long as our opponent does not somehow knock out our Dragapult EX in the active, which would be quite difficult for them to do, we should just be able to go Rare Candy, Dusknoir, Counter Catcher, good game next turn. And basically we win the game with 2 Phantom Dives and 1 to 2 Dusknoirs. Pretty easy gameplay. Might be complex to get there, but I think if you're calm, cool, collective, it's pretty easy going when it comes down to it. And our board's good. I'm liking this. Gouging Fire shouldn't be an issue. Maybe our opponent brings up our Radiant Grenin, our Alakazam, and uses Itchy Pollen. That might be annoying. We can go for Seal Stone, search for Professor Turo, and get that Pokemon out of the active spot, and then go for Phantom Dive again. So we'll see whatever our opponent decides to do. We're just going to kick back, relax. I have this Advanced GG Blackout Focus Drink that I've really been enjoying. And I like putting ice so I can like shake it throughout the day. So we know our opponent's not playing boss's orders. We know that our hand here is here to stay. It looks like they're going to just go Magma Base and attack for 260. I'm pretty sure it's game over. Our opponent's walking exactly into our plan. We don't even need to play Counter Catcher. We have game on board. And even if they do anything like Bravery Charming and a Counter Catcher up this Latios, move damage counters to it from their Budew, take prize cards. I could also knock out Budew, knock out Radiant Alakazam, and knock out the active. I've set up checkmate in a bunch of different ways. Our opponent has no chance of winning this game, unless, of course, they have a way to do an additional 60 damage. That definitely would ruin things for us. But it looks like they're going for the defensive route, which does not win them this game. So there's their Jet Energy. They're going to attack for 260. Not enough to get the knockouts, and that's fine. There's a Fezandipiti. These are all things that they should have done first before committing to their energy, committing to having a Pokemon in their active. That's fine. I'm not here to judge. And I have exactly, like, you might be like, but Zach, you're not behind on prize cards. Or you might not have boss. Well, we're going to figure this out. So step 1, we have Counter Catcher here. If I move damage counters from this Pokemon, from their Painful Spoons, from this Pokemon, over here, so you can do it so that you don't take knockouts. They had 3 on them, so I can just move the damage counters there. It just doesn't matter. Now I can go ahead and go for Seal Stone. Let's just go ahead and use Star Alchemy, not instant charge. We could search our deck for the Rare Candy. Here's the Rare Candy. Here's the Dusknoir. Dusknoir, Pop, Curse Blast going on this Pokemon. Now I'm behind on prize cards, even though I win the game this turn. So they draw their one prize card. And it's like, even if our opponent does anything, we just have another turn. Like, we had 2 turns left anyway. So we're going to bring up this Pokemon, and then we're going to board wipe, and we're going to take 5 prize cards in 1 turn. So let's go 2 here. That's a knockout. That's a knockout. We'll set this one up for a knockout, and let's do some more damage counters to this one too. So there's, like, you see how much damage we had to spare? Like, there's a lot of different ways to go around things, and even though it's an aggressive deck that knocked out both of our Drakloaks, we were able to set up through it, even though we went first, which is not ideal for our deck. This deck is incredibly powerful. I really like the utter consistency of this deck because it just works. It's a deck that just has everything going for it. Sure, I might want to kind of lance for a Crispin. There's a handful of cards that I have, but this is definitely going to be one of the top choices for me at EUIC, and of course for many other top players. Triple Lance does allow you to set up very nicely, and having access to all of these supporters where other decks are really cutting cards to go really tech based. I don't know if you need all those techs, and I think that, as if anything, this game showed how easily this deck can get set up. So we might have a little bit too many things, but I'd rather be a little bit easygoing when it comes to traveling across the world and playing a deck like this than not, right? I'd rather it be a little bit easier for me, a little bit better draws, a little bit of this. So having extra consistency cards and just playing a turbo consistent Dragapult EX deck is super cool. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video, learning a little bit more about the gameplay. And if you're trying to learn a little bit more outside of just watching YouTube, I do offer personal one-on-one coaching sessions. So you can hit me up in the description. There's a link to my metafy.gg/@ZachLassage. We'd totally love to help you on your next Pokemon tournament or anything else to prepare for. I have some openings late in February after I return back from the European International Championships before Vancouver. List is in the description. Copy and paste it, play it, and check out for all of our sponsors in the description too. I'll catch up with all y'all later. Peace out and have a great one. Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.